My sound and everything back. Okay, let's share the screen, share the sound, share it, share a like. Okay. Down boy, up boy. You missed a lot. Not sure how far back to go, but I'll just go back that far. When the panel discussion started. Okay. Yeah, we back.
That's it? Ass whooping?
But no.
Yeah,
Like
all she did is an
the
ass
reason
whoop.
Boom. Okay. Looks like we back where we need to be because this is where the information gets interesting. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay, yeah, we're back live. Okay, perfect. Let's get back into the video, folks. Let's take a listen.
First action is to select the highest earner. What should be the punishment for a woman who do that? From a lady
who lie?
If a woman did that to a man, what should be the punishment?
If she lies, go get your sister so your sister can beat ass. I ain't gonna lie.
That's it? Ass whooping?
But no.
Yeah, like all she did is an ass
He
whoop.
get 18 years old, 18 years of child support.
She just get an ass whoop.
She get a refund and she get an ass whoop. That's all.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, she needs to go to jail because do you know the amount of money that is accrued over 18 years?
Jail is probably the most effective punishment. Her paying you back, probably not. Especially if she does not have the money, you wouldn't be receiving what you've lost.
What do you think about that? I think jail is the best thing as a deterrent personally, because nothing else is going to give a person any pause. Can you hear me, lady?
Yeah, I can hear you asking me.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Now, what they're talking about, just so I'm understanding, it's about DNA tests, right?
Yeah, no, they actually talking about paternity fraud, where you have a person who has been proven not to be the father and it looks like he's been deceived. So they're talking about the actual, the lie.
Right. I think definitely it should be jail time. And then also, too, just my 2 cents, I've always said this, whomever the purported father is, it should be blood test. I feel like at the birth. I mean,
yeah, that's it.
But to me, if they did it at the hospital, that nips it in the bud, and then we don't have all this nonsense.
That's one of the topics they're gonna get on too. Let's get back into the video.
Versus what y'all said, what is actually happening?
Nothing.
Oh, I don't. Well, no. They can. I think that they can sue civilly. I don't know what happens legally.
Ain't shit happening
about it.
I
don't know nothing about it.
I'm gonna tell you what's happening. We're in the legal side. Oh, this ain't your baby. Oh, my fault. Just take him off child support. Goodbye, sir.
Or if he signed the birth certificate, oh, this ain't your baby. Oh, well, you have to go find the father, have him declare to be the father, and then we'll take you off of child support.
And that's maybe. And that's maybe
5 years in jail behind it.
Yeah, I actually just went past this part. Yeah, I was saying in different states, it's different stuff, right? And every state don't do the same thing. I've never heard this one though, where they actually obligate the father to go find the real father. That just blew me away.
Well, they obligate either the father or the mother to do it. So the state's position, I get their position, but it's not right. At the end of the day, though, you got to understand from a legal standpoint, and you should understand this being a notary, not trying to offend anyone. When you don't know, you don't know. But I mean, at the end of the day, when that father signed that birth certificate, he stood there. He signed a legal contract. So you got to understand what the state is saying is, hey, this your child. You said it was your child. We don't want to be responsible. Now you want to remove your name. Now, to me, I personally feel the procedure should be this: get a legal DNA test. Once a legal DNA test is done, if he's determined not to be the father, he should be taken off immediately. If it's through child support should have to do it. If it's through the court, then either the court can order it or the dad could do it. But that part, like you said, to go try to find the father, no, that's not fair. If at any time the man says, hey, this is not my kid, he should have the right, in my opinion, to get the legal DNA and get his name off if he's not the father.
Yeah, that
but like you say, if states, it
other
should be
father into a
uniform.
bounty hunter, basically, and having him trot him down. That ain't cool. Let's get back to the
Right, but at
video.
the end of the day, yeah, we have to teach our men, don't sign until you get a paternity test. I mean, it's
Yeah,
horrible
that is a
we're at this
strong lesson now.
that we're at this stage. But I'm sorry, I've even told my son, and he's only 15. He even says he doesn't want children, but I've told him when you become an adult, I don't care if it's your girlfriend or your wife, preferably your wife, but nowadays you can't trust people. I told him he needs to have a paternity test to make sure it's his child before he starts claiming and being responsible for a child. I mean, I hate to be that way, but I just feel it should be done.
Yeah, let's get back into the video.
That's
Ain't
maybe.
no way I gotta go find the father.
Yeah, but that's maybe though. That's not every
Yeah, like
state.
if you sign the birth
Once the
certificate,
guy
you
signed
don't
the
just
birth
come up off of
certificate,
it.
he's kind of like the father. Most states don't let you off like that. It's even if you find a biological father, it's very sad.
You telling me even if I go find a biological father, they're not gonna let me off?
Because signing the birth certificate was voluntary. That was a choice.
If you want to know what's jacked up about it, though,
Signing the birth certificate is a choice, and they feel like if you made the choice, then you're stuck with it.
Hold the hell on.
Laisha,
You mean to tell me y'all women ain't out marching to change that shit?
We have. I've signed stuff.
I ain't never seen nobody out there marching to change that.
Let me tell you this story.
Why y'all men not marching to change it?
It's
your
what?
job.
That is a reckless and careless response. When a woman says this, she is exposing that she does not consider the child being linked to its biological father important enough to protest for. Y'all marching for LGBT, but y'all not marching for illegitimate.
Definitely. There's a reason why we know about it today is because men have been pushing against it. But I would say even what's even more egregious about it though is that y'all and this is just speaking of women in general.
This is crazy.
Women in general are not actively fighting for it because it benefits them. But not only that, they are actually actively fighting against mandatory birth
DNA test.
Mandatory DNA test at birth.
What an excellent response from Sweeney. Let's see if what he is saying is true.
Dear AMS, what's your stand on mandatory DNA testing for kids?
Women take care of children that aren't theirs all the fucking time and don't make a big ass deal about it. Pause. This is no.
What you saying? You're saying that.
I am saying that.
But you have a choice. You know that.
I don't think there's any issue with a man taking care of another man's child.
Voluntarily, you have an argument, but we are talking about men being forced involuntarily to take care of another man's child.
So, ladies,
I just have to say, I did the stepdaddy thing, and it's not rewarding. I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on who you are, who the person is, man. But nowadays,
I mean, who you're with, and then if you're gonna be with them long term.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of. I mean, I believe it was a time where it was an honorable thing, but so respect is so diluted and degraded this day and age. I just don't see it as being a smart move. It's just
nowadays the issue that I have personally, just my little 2 cents, I just feel like sadly men as well as women, so they're both responsible, change relationships like they change underwear. So that's why I say if you're going to be with somebody long term, I can understand it, but it's like, you could get involved with somebody, now you're only with them a couple years, you're attached to that kid, and then it's all this bouncing around. Then you get with the next person a couple years on and on. And I just feel the custodial parent, which unfortunately in most cases is a mom, they should look at that. Like, okay, when I got my divorce, I'll be honest, I did date, but I explained to men, and a couple men got offended. Oh, well, your problem. At the time, I had 2 daughters. My son is the youngest. My daughters are grown and out the house. And I told them, 1, I don't bring men to my house. And 2, not until we're definitely in a long-term relationship or we're engaged. Like, no offense, if like this one guy, he was a teacher, and no offense, but I was just thinking, you lucky I even went on a date with you. But I had went out with him literally 2 or 3 times, and he said I had something to hide because I wouldn't take him to my house. Now, he should have understood because he had daughters. I said, you have to understand, first, I have girls. That's number one. Maybe if they were boys, I would think differently, but no offense, I'm bringing a strange man into my home. Now, I said, yeah, you're background checked and you're all that because you're a teacher, but still, And I said, what message am I sending my daughters about dating? I said, kids don't understand dating. I said, honestly, it looks sloppy. You know, I call it.
Yeah, I'm a strong advocate for that too.
Right.
When
You're
I was
going out with,
younger,
you
my
going
daughter
out
was
with,
younger. She was little. I didn't take her around no too many women, and I didn't let too many women come around her.
right.
So
Because
you just don't want to give kids that kind of confusion.
Exactly. Because, for example, you may get with the person, you decide you guys aren't compatible, whatever, then you break it off. Now, sadly, if you're doing this a couple times a year, the kid get confused, like, okay, what now? Every 6 months, mom or daddy with somebody else. So again, if it's not serious, I didn't let him. And so he told me, oh, I had a man and I was hiding the man. And I did tell him, if you really need to see my house, I'll be happy to bring you while the kids are at school. But of course, he was at school too because he's a teacher. I said, I don't have anything to hide. I said, but again, you don't need to see my daughters, nor do you need to meet them.
Yeah, there's no
So
rush for
I
nothing
will
like
kind
that.
of say that until they got out of the house, I kind of, I'll just say my distance
Yeah,
from
I
me
agree because
didn't really
it's just
bring them
tricky.
around.
It's just
And then
really tricky.
nowadays it's sad. Back when my daughters was growing up, you know, not to be stereotypical, but you only worried about your girls. Today, unfortunately, you worry about the boys and the girls. You know, people are so weird. You don't know what they go do.
Yeah, you better. You got that right. You
So I
better.
mean, it's sad. So me, I try to keep the distance. And I'll be honest, I had a stepdad. It wasn't a great experience for me. So I just tried to keep the distance. Because when I got my divorce, my daughters were 9 and 13. So you know, I mean, that's like a pivotal age.
Yeah,
And then
it
you
was
got these teenage
very
girls.
impressionable, very
And then, yeah,
morphable.
you know, unfortunately, some men, they may not necessarily do something to your daughters, but sadly, I mean, they might look. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
you know, I don't want to get into all that. So I just kind of kept my distance until they got out
man,
of the
I
house.
just learned my lesson the hard way. It just from a man's point of view, it's just not smart. I mean, you gotta really, 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 really get to know a person. Let's
Oh,
get back to the
absolutely.
video.
Absolutely.
This got me thinking, do you think, like, what if there was a day where maternity tests were actually, like, mandatory?
Do you know who your baby daddy is?
I'm sorry, maternity. You guys, what if there was a day where paternity tests were actually mandatory? Why aren't they?
Do you know who your baby daddy is?
I do.
Exactly.
That is so disingenuous. Guys, does it not surprise you that the one who pushes back in this particular conversation happens to be a black woman? These are the type of women who will go online and scream black men are behind, black men don't protect black women.
But can I say this honestly? Yes. If they were mandatory, I would proudly take one because I want you to know.
That's my
I want you to know.
I don't understand why they're not mandatory.
Yeah,
I feel that parents should absolutely know what they've contributed to, and children should absolutely definitively know who their parents are.
Oh, my cards. Look. I was reading about that, and there are activists that are trying to get a law to make it, but it's not passing because for some women, they feel that it would make more of a stigma.
Ma'am, that is a poor excuse. There is already a stigma. This mandatory law would actually reverse this. She haven't taken the time to acknowledge that her white massa would have not made millions off our embarrassing TV takes of the You Are Not the Father dramas.
Yeah.
Against women, you know,
it
that
makes
men
a stigma if you don't want to share the results.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Black women tend to be the most enrolled and argue they are the most educated. But when you put them around other races of women, their level of intelligence appears to be exposed, and in this case, in a very bad way.
Right. It becomes a stigma. If it was just mandatory and it was all over, the stigma would actually go away. It gets weird because people got to be asking you, am I your baby father? Maury Povich moments, you know? Are you the father?
But don't
if
you
it was
think
just
it's
mandatory
some
and we just...
responsibility that two people have sex and there's a possibility that woman's going to get pregnant, that it's a mature decision that, yeah, you are the father?
Ma'am, this is not a one-on-one situation. This is a one-to-many situation. A woman who conceived after sleeping around. So it is not a matter of maturity. It's a matter of immaturity and fraudulent behavior.
You should know. But I think the stigma goes away when it becomes mandatory. When it becomes the norm that everyone has to do this is just the way it is.
We're just checking to make sure, just like you get all the tests when you are pregnant. You're taking blood tests, you're making sure the dad's healthy, you're making sure mom's healthy.
Well, it's
Let's
good
just
for
make sure it's your baby.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
It's good for the genetics.
Absolutely.
I will say that.
Yeah.
We don't stop it. They are absolutely right. I'm in full agreement. This would nip all of this stuff completely in the butt. There would be no issues. I think it should be done in every state, and I don't see why.
But this is my only thing.
I mean, I know in
will say
California,
this part,
they do ask. They ask you when you in there and the baby's born, would you like a DNA test? They don't. It's not mandatory, but if you want one, they'll do it right then and there.
Oh well,
but I know that's Cali. You know, that's
good. But to me, at the end of the day, I just really feel, and no, it shouldn't necessarily be on the father, but the dads need to step up and ask. And just tell a woman, hey, look, I want to be sure, so I want this test done immediately at birth. But I mean, it's good that California does offer it.
Yeah, they do offer it. They just leave it up to you. But that's smart, because right now when this kid is actually delivered into the world, if you decide that you want to do a DNA test right now, that's good for the state, because we'll know right now if you're the father. We'll know without a doubt. So if there's any issues with it,
from the man's perspective, this is just me. If I were a man, before I'm assigned that birth certificate, I want to know. And it's sad to say, but even if you're in a love relationship, a good relationship in a
we
marriage,
just live in really weird times.
Like you say, people.
I mean, like Candace Owens was saying that the women are the perverts now. You know what I mean? The girls for the first time in the history of the United States, age of 25, girls outnumber boys in virginity. There are more male virgins at 25 than there are girls. That is strange.
Right.
You know what I mean? But let's get back.
No. It is good for everything across the board, not just the genetics. This woman has lowered the importance of this matter down to just the genetics. Typical.
But I think that there's still an issue with, it's stigmatizing. Women are already it's like.
Shut the fuck up. Shame on you, woman. I think we heard enough from her.
A London medical ethics expert has criticised the sale of over-the-counter DNA paternity tests as irresponsible and potentially damaging to children. The kits went on sale at a pharmacy chain in East London today, as Sarah Harris reports.
This box could hold the answer to your baby's paternity, and you can buy the DNA kit over the counter at a Hackney chemist. It's one of the first places in the UK to stock the test in a shop, and they expect demand to be as high here as it has been in America. But whatever.
They got this in America?
No, they said that was in the UK.
Yeah, I said it's in the UK. They said they expect
they said the demand in the UK to be as high as it is.
Oh, so it's a demand here, but they don't necessarily got it here.
They can. You can buy them over the counter, or you can order them all that they got online tests. And that's the thing that's really, really sad. You got these online tests, and I'll admit, I'm guilty of it. I just watch just to look. And also because I like the judge, but I do sometimes watch paternity tests, and what always boggles my mind is how long they wait.
Yeah.
Generally,
that 2 and 3 years is ridiculous.
Or 2 years old. Now, I will say, yes, sometimes there's infants, but these kids are generally 2 or more years old. And I'm thinking to myself, and I believe tests run about $200, give or take. I'm going to look into that just to know. But a friend of mine got one several years ago. This lady comes out the woodwork, and just me, I just knew instantly. I mean, you know, well, you don't know, but how you have woman's intuition. I just told him, I said, it does not sound right to me. It sounds to me like she's trying to use you. And I said, if I were you, as quickly as you can, go get a DNA. And I looked online, and literally at the time, you went right on Sahara and Rainbow, and then he got a test for $200. The reason why I said the lady was trying to con him is because the girl was 14 years old.
Lord,
I even told him, I said, are you kidding me? I said, so this woman has had 14 years to reach out to you, but never has. Now, all of a sudden, she probably done tested so many men, and you're one of the men on the list. But I said, this is ridiculous. I said, this should have been done long ago.
It's
And
crazy,
he
man.
wanted to
That's
spend, yeah, he wanted to spend time with the girl and all that. And I said, I would really caution against this because you're going to bond with this girl. And if you turn out not to be her dad, then what? I said, now, if you are her dad, well, okay, congratulations, move on, but get to know.
well,
So,
men are supposed to be invulnerable emotionally. You understand? So
right,
we're getting a child torn away that we've been watching grow up since they was 7 and 6 years old, and being in a position where you ain't even really supposed to call and inquire about how they're doing. We're invulnerable to emotion. So
right,
he'll get all. I ain't worried about him. Hey man, that
right,
what like I was saying before you joined the show, men internalize our emotional pain and it turns into stress and it
right,
kills us.
right,
That's why we check out before our women and wives and daughters and everybody and children be, man, he was saying, once you gone, my dad was a good dude. I didn't even know he was sick. He knew
right,
he was
right.
sick. You know what I'm saying? But we've been taught that we supposed to just shut up and soldier and take care
Right.
of our
Well, the
families.
sad
And
part about it, that one other point too, just quickly on the story I was telling you, the girl turned out not to be his child, of course,
Lord have
but
mercy.
also too, I just feel like men should get therapy, and I think sometimes men shy away
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
I
Especially
mean, they have
brothers.
to have an outlet because,
Yeah.
certain things you don't want to
It
discuss with your
helps.
friends or family. So then you should have a therapist to talk about. They're not going to judge you. It's a neutral person. In fact, I talked about this in a book club 2, 3 weeks ago, the therapist, and I just laughed. It was 2 therapists in the group, and they were like, I don't get why people will talk to us. I said, hello. People don't want people to know their business. People don't want to be judged. I said, you're a non-biased person. They figure like you're a professional, you're supposed to listen, versus if they tell their friends or their family they're embarrassed, they're going to be judged or just whatever. It's like
You do
a
feel better after
therapist.
talking to the
Yeah,
therapist. You
the
do.
therapist, you can let it out and you feel like it's unbiased, and you just won't be slighted. So I'm just like, you guys are professional, like you kind of should know this, because one of the things the male therapist said, he said in regards to relationships, he didn't understand how people could come in, men and women, tell all the business in the relationship, and then he looks at them like, why don't you go tell your spouse? I'm like, because they're not comfortable talking to their spouse about it. They should be, but unfortunately they need an outlet, and you as the therapist of the outlet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's emotional outlets are important. Men tend to we want to go punch stuff and lift weights and we'll go running, and we'll use our testosterone to try to use it to try to give ourselves therapy, which actually, as you get older, I mean, when you're younger, it might help a lot. But man, you over 45, man, that ain't gonna get it, And
Right.
we can't talk to our friends and family about everything. It's some things that my friends and family, my family, my brothers and sisters who I've known my entire life, it's things about my life they don't know about that I've never told nobody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't feel, even with them, you don't feel that kind of comfort. A therapist won't necessarily get to it, but if you deal with them enough, they'll get to it because they're not attached to you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So you'll mess around and, go off into it with them. And it might be just what you need to make that turnaround in your life,
Right. To me and my family, and this is one thing that's unfortunately, I'll say horrible, and I was talking to my son about it, but in my family, unfortunately, people gossip and just throw you under the bus. So I know me, and for certain things, depending upon what it is, no, I don't want to share with one family member, because sad to say, whisper, 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 whisper. Now the whole family knowing it's, oh, Nakia said, but don't tell. So for me, depending upon what it is, I'd rather just go through a therapist and stay in the therapist room. It's confidential, okay, and I have my outlet, versus you trying to talk with your family, be open. It's something private, and they want to go gossip.
Yes. Unfortunately, family will stick it in and break it off.
Exactly.
Because they family and they feel like you gotta forgive them. We're blood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They'll
And
take
but this
money.
is the thing. I'll be honest, 1 or 2 times I can forgive you. You're human. But unfortunately, it's certain people, it's happened multiple times that I'm just at the point, okay, Nakia, you know the rule, follow it. And the rule is this: what they tell you, if you don't want nobody to know, keep your mouth shut. So
That's right.
unfortunately, I just do that. Or now, I'll be honest, I do talk to a therapist weekly just to be able to talk. I
That's
also
right.
have a notary friend that I talk to. She lives in Arizona, and she doesn't know any of my family. So who is she going to gossip? So between those 2 people, I talk to them because I know I'm not going to be judged, and they're not going to spread all
And
my
it reduces stress in your life, which is what it's for.
Right.
I'm all for it. We got 15 minutes left. Let's get it over.
With the cost, one leading ethics organisation says the information can only damage children.
I don't think children are going to be sufficiently protected in this instance. These tests are not being done for the benefit of children, and they will inevitably be done without the child's consent. It's simply not for medical reasons, but for disputing, warring couples who the father in question wants to either accept or reject the child.
That is his right. What the fuck is she talking about? No one cares about the child, really. Damn sure don't care about the man in this situation either.
Like, I mean, there's people raising the kid either way, so like, why does it matter?
Damn. Why is it that so many black women are okay with this in spite of a community that is in the rubbish largely because of the breakdown of the nuclear family? How is this even possible?
I have to agree with that. I mean, that's one of the things I push with my organization. One of the things I tell people when I do a lot of my work is I want to prepare families. I don't want to make sure that there's services there for just single mothers or single fathers. Where are the programs for the husband and wife that's trying to stay together?
Right.
You know what I mean? Where's their support?
And I'll be completely honest, you are hitting on so many topics and it's sad. But personally, I think just me, and I only say this because as an organization, we can reach more people, but I feel it should start with the religion. I don't want to necessarily say church because people have different religions. For some people, it's the church. Some people, it's a hall. Some people, it's a mosque. But I just feel like you can reach more people. But what's funny about that, I was in, we were not married. We were just boyfriend and girlfriend. So I went to the church to get counseling, made an appointment, and it literally pissed me off because, mind you, I was a faithful churchgoer, tithe payer, all that. And the man looks me in my face and tells me, we don't counsel boyfriends and girlfriends. We
Ain't
only, this is what he said. We only counsel people that are engaged. We're trying to lead you to marriage.
Ain't that
if boyfriend and girlfriend and we're having issues, we're trying to get to engagement and then marriage too. But if we don't have the support of our church, how do you do that?
Exactly. The church supposed to be there for you, period, in the story.
Looked at me. So I said, you have a good evening. So already I'm biased. So wait, we not going to help out our singles. If you're not engaged or married, we not helping you.
That's just crazy, especially living in America with all the stuff that go on here. We got a long ways to go. Let's get it back.
Right.
So which would actually alleviate a lot of
you're telling me that there's a highly likelihood of women marching for gender nonconforming than there is changing the rules on illegitimate children.
This is where it's going to get crazy. Yeah, listen to this.
For sure.
Yeah.
Once you sign that birth certificate, it's over, especially if you married her. That's even worse.
I can't believe we have these type of women, bro.
You're definitely not getting your net off the hook. It's almost a guarantee it's not going to come off. I know in the state of Alabama for sure, it doesn't matter if the biological father around or not, that husband is still legally responsible for that child. It's going to really take that woman to say, you know what, she's going to have to be the one to release him from those things. But the law, and I know someone personally that went through this years ago. She went through this personally. The law would not allow that man off the hook.
So it's left up to her, and if she hate me,
it's left up to her. It's 100% left up to her. Yeah.
So can men be responsible for who you guys get pregnant? Like, can you wrap it up maybe, and then you don't have to worry about it?
How you jump to that? Hold on.
That doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter.
It's mama's baby, daddy's maybe. The daddy's is
always. I agree with you with that.
Dumb son of a.
Daddy's just the one complaining, saying they don't know if it's their kid. So I'm like, if you wrapped it up, would you have to really be worried about it?
No, hell no. Hold on, Ray, are you fucking serious?
I'm dead.
Oh shit.
So you gonna sit here and tell me we gonna jump from women being paternity fraud to say, oh man, you should have wore a condom anyway, rather than saying women shouldn't be lying about who the father is?
Y'all do the same
talking about if it's your...
Y'all do the same thing to women. Y'all blame women.
We was talking about if
making better decisions.
So you want to jump in the mud, or you gonna be the moral high ground?
Neither one. I'm just saying what makes sense. Both of you guys are responsible.
We was also.
Both of you guys are responsible. So why can't the men be responsible for the part they're playing in? And
we was also talking about married people. It was some of them. We was talking about married people too.
So you saying the wife lied about who the kid was by? That's different.
Yeah, because in Tennessee, I believe if you're married and the child is conceived in the marriage, you're tied financially to the child for life, no matter if the kid's not yours or not. So
correct that I
different
believe
states, different
both
stuff.
states, because what it is they consider marriage a legal contract.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're saying is if the child was conceived while you're married, then unfortunately they automatically consider it to be the husband's child.
And then I think it's South Carolina or North Carolina has an anti-bastard law, meaning every child has to have a father. They're going to put somebody down, period, in the story. But you know what kills me about this whole thing is this case that happened in Arizona where these women took the state of Arizona to Supreme Court because they had their child's fathers on child support and they were not receiving any kind of state aid. But their child support payments, even though they were supposed to be one thing, they were getting a check for a different amount, a much lower amount. So they tried to sue the state, and the state, no, we ain't got to give you no more than that. We decide the policy, you just got to follow it. So they took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said that the Arizona admitted in the Supreme Court that the child support is not for the child, it's for the state. It's possibly recovery for the state. But in the midst of the case, it came out that a heavy percentage of the child support collected for the state of Arizona goes into a retirement fund for judges and prosecutors.
Now that's
so you see that's a direct conflict of interest. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But that's what they're doing.
And then, but one thing I can say, my opinion is child support rules and laws should become uniform because just to give you an example, when I started child support with my son, he's 15. At the time, it was 10%, give or take here. But whereas in California, it was 20%. So I'm just like, that's not fair. And then here they do tiers. It's changed recently, but which was so silly to me and so imbalanced. And I'm surprised nobody took the Supreme Court, went to the Supreme Court on this. But if you made $4,000 or less, you paid a higher percentage versus, let's just say you made, I don't know, 100,000, 200,000 a year, then it went down to 10%. I thought that was unfair. So if a father makes 4,000 and you tell him for 2 kids, he pays 25%. But then on the other hand, if his income jumps up to 10,000 or 20,000 a month, then it went down to 10%. How is that fair? To me, it either should be 10% across the board or 25%.
That's that whole protect the rich thing. That's that whole making it easier for the rich. Just like they got lower insurance costs than we do because they live in a certain zip code. It's crazy how they systematically and mathematically set up this type of a nasty system, and then it does what it does, and people complain. But the thing about it is, like Dr. Joyce DeGary said, the system is not broken; it's doing what it's supposed to do. You think it's something wrong with the system. I was like, until I heard her say that, I'm like, whoa, I never thought of it that way. But she had a hell of a point. Let's get back. Who's that? Bobby Ye coming on in. Come on in, Bobby Ye. Where you at, Bobby Ye? I see you, but I can't talk to you, brother. Where you at? I think he's in here. Chime in, man. Make sure you got your mic on and everything. We finna start the video back.
How is it both
but
people?
But still, you told the man to wrap it up, though.
Hold on, wait.
I said if it's a wife, obviously it's different.
No, hold on, Lady O. How is it both people's fault that she lied about who the father was knowingly?
I didn't say it was nobody's fault. I said, can the men be responsible for the part they
How is a man responsible for her lying about who the father is?
He's responsible for potentially knocking her up.
No, how is he responsible for her lying?
He's not responsible for her. He's responsible for himself. That's the point I'm making.
How would he be responsible, even if he did bust?
Why do you keep deflecting?
Hold on, wait. No. Wait. No, I got it. I'm trying to make her make it logical. How would it be he be responsible, even if he busted inside of her for her lying?
He's not responsible for her lying. He's responsible for busting inside of her. What part are you not understanding?
What does that have to do with her? Because the conversation.
It doesn't.
Exactly. So why did you bring it up?
Because I said both sides need to be looked at since 2 parties were involved.
Both sides need to be looked at in a scenario where she's lying.
I hate to see people deflect.
Right.
Accountability is accountability. It's not supposed to be poison. You're supposed to just take accountability for the role you played in something. Now,
Right.
if you say he should take responsibility for the fact he had sex with her and he did it unprotectedly and she conceived, that is, he should take responsibility for that. And his accountability is to be there and see what's going on and see if that's his kid.
Right.
But if you lied,
right. Now, this is me. No, they shouldn't deflect, but I will say this, and this is probably not the most popular choice, but just like it takes two to make a child, I feel like it's both their responsibilities. Absolutely. The woman is 110% wrong for lying. I'm not taking that back. However, to me, men should always protect themselves. Again, like I said, I have told my son that whether he followed it or not, I don't care who it is, wife, girlfriend, don't care how long you know her, you want to make sure it is your child. And I have told him. Now, if you choose to say it wasn't your kid and you want to raise them, okay, fine, you can raise them, but at least you know. You know, you shouldn't walk around, in my opinion, thinking a kid is yours and it's not. If you choose to voluntarily raise them, then okay, God bless you. But I've told my own son,
that's right.
Make
That's
sure
right.
you get a paternity test.
That's the same, bro. That's the same thing the brother was pointing out in that ugly segment when that lady was saying, women been taking care of kids and they dads for years. He said, yeah, but you're doing it by choice.
Right.
Not because somebody lied to you and made you think this child was yours. And she just couldn't see the logic he was pointing out there. When people just really stop and think sometimes, you can pick up on things. Like the brother said in the other podcast, sometimes things are too smoothly said and it goes right past a person. Even though it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? And then you get caught up in the fluff.
I think sometimes people pretend like they don't understand. You can explain it and say it as clear as possible. And I just think sometimes people want to play dumb.
They just don't want, they just don't.
They just want to negate the obvious.
Yeah, they want to be what I call willingly ignorant. They don't want to know better.
Right.
They like it like this.
Right.
A lot of our people, unfortunately. Let's get back.
There is no both sides in that.
Right.
I'm saying how you could prevent it so you won't be on here crying saying somebody
There
scammed
is no preventing somebody lying.
Hold on, wait.
you on here crying saying somebody scammed you about being a dad. I'm saying how you could prevent it as a man.
There is no, you do know that people get lied on even if they never had sex with the woman, right?
Sweeney has a point, but these women do not get these truths in their algorithms due to their interest in what they watch. So it is not their reality, which is why men like myself and other creators consistently attempt to stay relevant on these topics in hopes that maybe if we would build a large enough audience, the content will be shared so much that they would.
Yeah, did you make it in this time, brother? There you are. Turn on your microphone, bro. Get your microphone on and you'll be good to go.
Have to intentionally ignore it. Unfortunately, even over 100K subs, I myself have yet to be able to pierce the threshold. So please like and
I see you, Dow. Hey, check out you. You came in at just the right time. Keep listening. Just listen real quick. You gonna catch on. Nakia, this is my young brother from my neighborhood, Bobby Yeah. He's another podcaster. That's Nakia, man. That's my teacher right there, man. We're gonna be real respectful up in here. The teacher's in here.
Hi.
Peace and blessings, Queen. For sugar there.
Let's listen to the rest because it's gonna get good.
When? Who
What?
lied
There
and
was
said
a
they
story.
smashed Who lied and said they smashed y'all?
There was a story in
Who
Detroit.
lied and said they smashed y'all?
What? This woman clearly is out of touch with how the women she is defending move in today's society.
Information in a story first exposed about the state ordering a Detroit man to pay child support for a kid that everybody agrees isn't his.
As 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell tells us, the court has made him a wanted man until he pays up.
When I exposed this story, I thought someone a friend of the court would fix a clear injustice. Instead, a warrant has now been issued for Carnell Alexander's arrest. For him, it's deja vu. In 1991, during a traffic stop, Carnell Alexander got a shock. Police arrested him. His crime? Being a deadbeat dad.
I knew I didn't have a child, so I was kind of blown back.
He told 7 Action News he would later learn this happened because his ex needed help.
I had to turn to welfare to get assistance to take care of them, and I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get assistance.
That started a paternity case. A process server then turned in this paper saying Carnell had been notified at a house in Highland Park. So when he didn't show up at court, he was legally listed as dad. The problem? Carnell didn't get notified. He wasn't even at a house in Highland Park. He was in prison for a crime he committed as a young man.
So apparently this is not an isolated situation. Thousands of men are going through this in the state of Michigan. Guys, check your state laws so this does not happen to you.
And by the time he learned about the paternity case, judges told him it was too late. Legally, he owes the state more than 30 grand for assistance paid to care for a child.
I did not father, that I did not biologically create or spend any time with throughout my life. I find that very unfair.
Carnell says he won't pay. He tells me tomorrow he will turn himself in.
I will go to jail if I have to because I'm tired of the situation of the mishandling of the case.
I don't think that's right.
Murray Davis from the National Family Justice Association says there are thousands of men in Carnell Alexander's shoes.
So even if you take a test and are not the father, you will still have to pay the debt and continuing child support for a child that is not yours.
Because Michigan does not have paternity fraud laws that protect men.
Michigan does not recognize paternity fraud in the sense that a person who has been found not to be the father is relieved of those obligations.
I did reach out to a friend of the court and was told that they cannot comment on open and active cases. Carnell, in the meantime, plans to go to court and turn himself in tomorrow with his attorney, who hopes to convince a judge to let him go free. We'll let you know what happens.
What do you guys think that judge did? Let me know in the comments.
What if I told you that there's a plethora of women that are name dropping just random names on birth certificates, and motherfuckers is getting a letter where you owe 10,000 child support? I'm like, I don't even know.
Wait, you have to sign that. That's not how a birth certificate works, Darwin.
No,
you can put.
I think this is determined by what state you in, because in California you do have to sign it, or they not doing nothing without. If this is no name on the birth certificate, they have to do a paternity test in the state of California, because paternity got to be determined before they'll do anything else, which I think is smart. But different states got different things going on, you know. Because I remember back in the day, the women could put whoever name they wanted on the birth certificate, and the system would go with that and just say, "Okay, you're the father." It happened to my brother.
Well, I think it's good now that California is demanding a paternity test. I think everybody should follow California's lead.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, they give you the choice, but I think it should be mandatory. I think because they taking the sample of your kid's DNA anyway in the state of California.
Saying they give you the choice, but I like the fact that before they'll add your name to the birth certificate, you're saying that they want.
Yeah, they do want they want that done, and they double the birth certificate. If the child doesn't have no name as father, and then there's the paternity test done after the fact, the child gets a second birth certificate to go with the first one. So it's almost like it stays on record that this had to be determined.
Right.
But I ain't mad because records are important. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's get it on.
Look, you can put a name on a birth certificate, but if he doesn't sign it within a certain amount of days, that name gets rejected. She's correct. That's how the law in America works.
Clearly, a lot of women are out of touch of what's going on. These women are currently nurturing the Black communities in America, and they are oblivious to the maliciousness of the sisterhood.
Real talk. These are the mothers right now. And this is the information that they passing on to their daughters. My mother told me to be real careful as a young man. And I didn't have my first child till I was 23. And I was still too young. Right. You know what I mean? And I still made a big mistake with the mother I chose for my daughter, because it's tough. You know what I mean? I wish my dad would have been around more. I wish I would have listened to my big brother a little more, because it's different when you get advice from your dad or your big bro about women than from your mom. Because you figure your mom, I was the youngest son. I felt like she was just trying to stop me from having my fun.
Right.
But when she really was trying to stop me from putting myself on punishment for 18 years.
Right.
I should have listened. But I mean, that's just part of the whole breakdown. Like he said, our nuclear families ain't what they supposed to be. The stuff my father told me, I wish he would have told me before, you know what I'm saying, I became the kind of man I was becoming. You know what I mean? My dad told me, he said, whenever you get ready to go to sleep with a woman, your son, just remember this. He was like, before you lay down with that woman, do anything with that woman, he said, I want you to look at her real good and ask yourself, do I want children by this woman?
Right.
And it was very good, because it's something I started doing after he said it to me. But my brother, he told me, You want to know what kind of girl you dating? Meet her mother. Go meet her mother and see what kind of mother she is. See what kind of woman her mother is. I wish I would have listened to him.
I do think that's true to a certain extent, but it's sad to say I'll go with the old saying that we lose a little bit of each with each generation. I hate to say it, but it's like we get worse and worse with each generation.
It's very
So
true.
yeah, the mom may, be a reflection somewhat of the daughters, but unfortunately with each generation we lose a little bit. So
yeah,
it's I like can't say that fully. I think you have some similarities, but it's, to me, with each generation it gets worse and worse.
It's a little bit worse. Like I said, respect is out the window at this point.
Right.
There's no respect no more. It's like, and it's, when we was kids, there's certain things we didn't do as children because we just had a certain amount of respect. If we was walking down the street, we little project kids, and we yelling and talking crazy and cussing, if we got near a church, we would stop cussing. And if anybody did, we would check them. Hey man, it's a church right there. You know what I'm saying? That ain't, come on. Ain't no kid thinking about that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like you said, it's been a decline, a regular decline as time that went on. And then unfortunately, it's not getting no better. I've said all the time, my son's 10. I feel so sorry for him because when he get ready to get out here and get a wife, man, could you imagine the shape these young ladies gonna be in?
Right.
It's like, man, it's just sad, but it's true.
Right.
Let's get back.
Right.
They're lying. They know.
Even in these cases where y'all would say, oh man, this is an obvious case, the way that the system is currently set up is not that easy for a man to just walk out of.
He don't get his money back either. He got to go.
And he don't get his money back.
Let me do a morality test. Ladies, show of hands. Would y'all fight for that to be put in the law?
What I wouldn't fight for it, but I'll find something.
You talking about mandatory DNA
test? If it requires y'all to go down to City Hall and say, hey, look, we need mandatory DNA tests at birth. What?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna march in the streets for it, but I will sign something for it.
This is what
This is the part that rocked my world. It's not over. Keep listening.
Community will continue to suffer from. And it's not the white man, so don't go there. I know how bad people in our community like to point the blame, but this particular matter appears to be self-inflicted.
I ain't marching in the street.
I won't march, but I'll sign it. Yeah, I won't march.
Yeah. I'm not marching.
They won't march for the black man. They won't march for the child. What will they march for?
Coast to coast. An army of women.
We believe in women.
Defending reproductive rights.
I believe that we will win.
Texas's new restrictive abortion law powering the step of hundreds here in LA and thousands across the country.
They will march to destroy the seed, but not to accurately ensure the seed has its biological father documented and accounted for.
And this is black women. We're talking about the black community.
Women have been fighting for things all this time. Men, this is your issue. You're going to have to take it up.
How is it our issue when y'all are the one lying?
That's your job. She said, baby, it's June. I ain't marching nowhere.
I love your tattoo, by the way.
Nobody else.
This is not funny, dude. This is not funny.
Right.
I wanted to say I love your tattoo, by the way. Like her tattoo, I love it.
I do remember you,
Talking about a
The
tattoo.
tattoo that's stopping her from being feminine and getting
I agreed. I said I'll sign it. I won't march, but I said I'll sign it. So just deal with that.
I just said it
But you have to
requires
lead the charge. You're
a
leader.
group of people to actually march.
Y'all can march.
For it to happen.
I will
Laws-
sign. Hold on, lead, brother. Lead it. Leader.
It ain't the white man
They
that's
call
sending
the
us to
police.
court and putting our names down. It's them. And they saying, you know what? Yeah, I'll march if white man come and beat your ass, and I'll march for our kids. But if it come to me lying about who my kid's father is, or me putting that nigga on child support when I need it, I ain't marching for that shit.
You know what, Sweetie? I'm gonna tell you. Wait, hold up. I'm gonna tell you the one thing that I feel like it takes a lot of honesty to admit, and people won't admit it because it sounds fucked up. But in retrospect, I feel like in-house problems is in-house problems. So
What's more likely for you to march for? Unaliving the kids in the stomach, or mandatory DNA test?
Oh shit.
Come on.
Yeah, I gotta go march for my homegirls. I'm
So
sorry.
you gonna support unaliving of the infant, of the fetus? But then, oh my
Delete
Hey,
his
hey,
fetus.
Darwin, you gotta understand.
Where is the best
There was a
place for
whole
a baby with
slut
their
walk.
heavenly
Y'all remember the
ball?
slut walk? How many women came out for the slut walk?
So I think you're misunderstanding.
The slut walk.
Never heard.
Lord. You see why I had to put this video up and do a commentary on it?
Right.
I couldn't believe my ears. And this was it's more than one woman there. You think one would be like, I'm with the men, I would go because I got a son, I got a nephew, I got brothers. You know what I mean? You think somebody would say, no, I wouldn't want my nephew going through that. I wouldn't want my son going through that. Well, I'm gonna raise my son right. You can raise your son as white as you like. If he run into the wrong woman out there and he fall for her, that's something that you don't have no control over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you should want some kind of law to be in place to protect him from being, victimized by a predatory person. They said they will march to kill babies.
Right.
They will march for that. She said, I got to support my homegirls. I'm out there for that. But you can't support the brothers in this right here. I mean, it's not me, but I do know other people. I know some good brothers that done child support done basically handicapped them.
Man.
And they had the kids by the one dude, he had both kids by the same woman, and they was high school sweethearts. So you would have thought they would have been able to work out. Lauren Lake said it on her show, work it out in the living room so you don't have to work it out in the courtroom. I'm a strong believer in that. You don't have to involve. Now, Judge Mathis, you need to, put the white man in my business. Put the man in my business. You better go put him in your business, that child support. Look, bro, I don't agree with you. And then since I done found out this whole thing about this secret fund where judges and prosecutors are getting money off this child support, it sounded like you was saying that out of your own interest, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't trust no prosecutor or judge at this point after finding that out. And it's not a lie. It's not just wasn't just Arizona. Texas is supposed to be guilty of that, and so is California. You know what I'm saying? So if that's really what's going on, we can't trust y'all. But here it is, Lauren Lake, the lady who's in the paternity court seat, as a judge said, if y'all could sell it in the living room instead of the courtroom, I would suggest y'all did that.
Right.
It's time to be an adult. We want to act like kids when we get upset or when we don't want to be with a person no more. We think we can turn into children. No, you still got to be 45.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To carry yourself like an adult. It didn't work. Let's split this thing up and let's do what's best for the kid. Or you could be like my auntie and my uncle, man. They stayed together and raised my cousins until they was adults. And when they got a divorce, everybody was shocked.
Right.
We thought y'all was in love. We have been happy for years. But we raised our kids though. That's what the adult thing is to do. It's time to be an adult,
Right.
What's up, Bobby? Yeah, you in there?
Yeah, I was just, taking this all in, man. What we are witnessing is the degradation and the erosion of our family values and the fabrics that used to hold us together. Now it's the black man against the black woman, and it's the white man that's fueling and motivating the black woman to find unique ways to assault or come after, the black man. And like you say, man, a lot of these situations should be worked out in the living room instead of the courtroom. I'm a victim of a woman putting a baby on me. You feel what I'm saying? And one of them, I didn't know. I took her word, thought it was my child, signed the birth certificate and all that. Child support towed my ass up. Oh, excuse my language, but child support towed me up, took my license, and it was a lot of ramifications, behind that. You feel what I'm saying? Then there was another young lady that tried to put a baby on me, and she's telling this young sister that this is your daddy, and we don't have a relationship. So the young sister is walking around Watts with a grudge against me, hating me because she feels like I'm an irresponsible man that's neglecting his parental responsibilities. But that's not what the situation is. Your mama tried to put you on me and you're not my baby. I never had sex with her without a condom, using protection. So it's impossible for you to be my child. But I did attempt to be a part of the little sister lives, the little sister life, because as black men, I feel like to a degree we have an obligation to black children. So I did try to be somewhat of a positive role model and do what I can, so on and so forth, but that didn't suffice and it wasn't enough. So I'm a victim of this. So this hit home, when we touch upon this topic of discussion, because when the father finds out that this child that you thought was yours and you've been loving this child, providing for this child, man, it's traumatic. When that revelation comes out, and it can negatively affect the man, and it can also negatively affect the child. You know what I mean? So it ain't right, it ain't cool, and it's something that we need to start putting the necessary security measures into place so that we can prevent these type of situations from befalling us in the Black community.
Yeah, because unfortunately, a lot of our people are trife. So you can have a child that there's some questions about the child's paternity in the neighborhood, and the man could be like when me and my big brother, when he had his situation with his paternity situation, they was telling the little girl that he was belonged to my brother. The little girl was calling me and my brothers and sisters uncle and auntie when she seen us. You know what I'm saying? And I never like snapped at the child. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Hey, uncle." I would wave at her. I would just wave, "Hey, baby," and I would just say to myself, "It's messed up. Her mama not telling her the truth." You know what I mean? But you got the neighborhood sometime, or that mama's friend, or mama's cousin, or somebody that's messy, and they'll mess around and they'll drop a dime or they'll pour something in that child's ear. And unfortunately, even if that child and that man has a beautiful relationship, it can disrupt things.
Right.
And it's like it won't mend itself back because that doubt will be in that child's mind now. An
Right.
adult dealing with that is one thing, but a child don't know how to respond to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Devastating.
And
Right.
they'll start acting out. You know, they could be mean towards the father. And the crazy thing, like I try to explain to people, when those kind of things happen, a lot of times you got these tired mothers who think it's cute that the child is nasty towards the father because she don't like him and your daddy ain't nothing. But like I tried to explain to a woman once upon a time, disrespect, when you allow a child to be disrespectful, they don't know how to turn that off.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time before some of that disrespect gonna spill over into your lap.
Right.
And you're gonna expect to be treated like mama parent number one that took care of you your whole life, but you lifted up that gate of disrespect and said it's all right to be disrespectful.
Right.
Kids don't know how to stop, because see, as soon as you do something they don't like, they gonna think they can be that way with you.
Right.
So it ends up being a big mess. And here it is, it wouldn't have never happened had it not all it takes is one person to feel like, well, you know that really ain't none of your daddy, right? Why would you say that to a kid? But you got people who will do it.
That's true.
And then once the kid done heard it, you like what Lauren Lake say, you can't put that back. Once it comes out, you can't put that back. Same thing with a child, man. And we play games with this stuff like it's a joke. Like my man said, we made Maury Povich and them super rich off of this. You know what I'm saying? Off our foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And you see these people going, "Oh, I know it's him, and I wasn't with nobody." And then it becomes normal. It becomes, this is how it is anyway. So if it ain't none of this, it's okay. You ain't no different than nobody else. Plenty of women that make it. Nah, man. Nah. It has to stop somewhere, man. Or it has to begin a stop. I know ain't nothing this nasty gonna just cease overnight. But there gotta be a point where we starting to roll it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is not an insidious statement in the least. The thing is that you are expecting, again, women, Black women on this panel specifically, to get up and do something for you. When you all are experiencing this problem, you need to get up and you need to go fight for yourself, because when women have a problem, when we see something that is wrong and it is our problem, we go and we march for it.
That's the problem right there. It's your problem and my problems are supposed to be the same, sister. Y'all don't have separate problems from us. Our problem, you said our, but you talking about women, Black women.
Right.
Here it is. Your problems are my problems. My problems are your problems.
Right.
That's that Caucasian meddling, or shall I say Anglo-Saxons meddling in our households and our affairs, because our women develop this type of attitude towards the man when they start marching with the white women for the white women can have the opportunity to vote in the 1920s. Of this. Go ahead.
You're so right, man, because influence. You don't feel influence. Influence is pain. The Bible say by beholding you become changed. If you're around something too much, it starts changing you, whether you know it or not. You ever found yourself speaking a certain way and you heard a person speaking that way, you don't even like them, but you start using the same words they use because you just don't it's like being in the neighborhood. Everybody talk a certain way and you ain't really from the neighborhood, but you find yourself using these same, slurs, the same words, the same way. You pick up the same vernacular because influence is painless. You don't know when you're being influenced. And unfortunately, all of us, I'm a real man. I believe in accountability. All of us have absorbed the mannerisms and the ideologies of a people who we are yet this day in captivity to. We not supposed to be like them.
Right.
We not supposed to be like them. We all grew up watching Good Times. Wasn't y'all proud of James Evans?
Right, right.
I loved him. And as I got older, I loved him more and more, man, because I started saying to myself, you never seen a black father on TV like that no more.
Right.
They literally killed him off of television. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I remember being a kid and watching him stand up for his sons and stuff. And you know how long he worked on that painting? Huh? Do you? Man, when I used to be saying to myself, I wish my dad would have been there to be like that for me. But I used to see him on TV and it almost felt just as good. And I think the powers that be recognize that.
Right.
I say, you know what? This dude can't stay on TV because he gonna start promoting too many young men to be strong fathers. Can't have that. Right. And they didn't want him in the show. Esther Roll had to beg the producers to let him be in the. Yeah, they wanted her to be a single mother, even though he was with her in Maude.
Right.
And Good Times was a spinoff off of Maude. They wanted, by the time she got to the projects, her head to be gone.
Right.
It's called propaganda, baby. It's called programming.
Right, right.
Television programming. I tell a vision to program you.
Right.
It came out pretty good because this is it. One day at a time. Remember?
Right, right.
Alice.
Right.
Even what's happening. Their mama was by herself too, even though the father was alive.
Right.
You barely seen him on the show. He came every once in a while.
Sadly, that was a time when welfare changed the system and the dad couldn't be in the home. So they was promoting all that at the same time.
That was the beginning of our real degradation. Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what they was putting in everybody's mind. The dad can't be in the home.
Hey, God bless her soul, but man, my mother went for it. I mean, we was in Texas and my daddy worked and we stayed home. And my mother stayed home with us. It was 5 of us.
Right.
And my dad worked and we had a home and we lived in Oak Cliff. Had a nice house, garage, backyard, dog named Red Man. We had the typical, me and my brothers used to make snowmen in the front yard at Christmas time. You know, my mama used to take out the antique Easter baskets and, decorate them at Easter time. We had the real typical, what they call it, the nuclear family thing. Right. Yeah, we really had that.
Right.
But my mama's cousins was in Watts, California, living in the projects and talking about all the food stamps they was getting and the money they was getting on the 1st and 15th. And girl, you got 5 kids. You need to come down here.
Right.
Get you a unit.
Right.
You don't have to be with him. You don't have to put up with his stuff.
Right, right.
And then the lady at the Church of God in Christ, where my father is an elder there right now today, the church lady that worked there, gave my mama the money she needed to catch the bus and leave my daddy. What kind of church woman are you?
That's heavy.
Right.
He wasn't beating her. He had infidelity problems. He had some problems with drugs, but he wasn't beating her.
Right.
We still had a house. We still had a roof over our head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He just was running the streets a little bit. They was young, but they knew each other since they was teenagers. You know this man, mama. You know him since you was a little girl.
Right, right.
I hate it when people act like they don't know the people they've been with 30 and 40 years. It's like, what are you
right, and then that's one of the things that puzzles me too. It's like after you done been, and I hate to put it this way because we do have so many years, but I feel like this, after you done been with somebody 20 years, it's like, why? Why are you breaking up now? You've had the patience and the wherewithal for 20 years. Why? Just like the example you gave of the couple saying we weren't happy, we raised the kids, but I feel like if people sit down, they go to marital counseling, you can make it work. Because I'm a firm believer, and that it's not the best term, but however the saying goes, it says, the devil you know. So something to the effect of, why not be with the devil you know than the devil you know? You go out there and meet somebody new, you think the grass is greener on the other side. Then you look, it's like, oh, dang, you got 20 problems, but the last person only had 5. You should have just stayed with the person with the 5 problems.
A lot of people shoot themselves in the foot. A lot of people shoot themselves in the foot, and they done think they did it. Next thing they know, they see that person they used to be with, they done moved on, got married, and they miserable and feeling like they done destroyed their life, but nobody put a gun to your head.
Facts.
You know, so nobody put a gun to your head and said, go do that. Oh, it just wasn't working out with him. He wasn't there for me for this. And this guy was here and he was doing this and I was happy with him. And then you went on with him. He got you pregnant, but he didn't really want a relationship with you. Uh-oh.
Well, what the sad part about it is, that's the thing for me that's so difficult with dating. It's just like, I really feel in the beginning, of course, I feel like they're representative. And it's like, once they get you to a spot where they feel like you're comfortable, locked in, whatever term we want to use, then now the real person comes out.
There it is.
So like you said, you need to take time to get to know a person, like truly know a person before you rush right in. Well, people don't understand. Everybody have the honeymoon phase the first 6 months to a year. The question is, are you going to make it after that year, that 2 years? Everything is hunky. Well, everything's hunky-dory because, you like the person, you got the little butterflies and all that. But it's like, okay, when reality sets in and this person shows their true self, are you still going to feel that way?
Yes, ma'am, because that's real talk. Because my parents was together all that time. And it's like, when we got older, it's like they never wanted to be together. Like, she didn't even like my father's type by the time she got to like her 40s and stuff. You know what I mean?
I feel like to a certain extent, though, that might have been her listening to them other people and them influencing her.
Yes, influence is painless. Because she listened. She jumped on that bus and brought us all to Texas, brought us all to LA, brought us to Watts Nicholson Gardens, brought us from a home, 3-bedroom home, to one of the toughest housing projects on the West Coast.
Right, absolutely.
And this was the late 70s, early 80s. This when things was super crazy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's
that was the crack era, wasn't it? Ain't that when crack came out?
Well, back then the big thing was Sherm. Crack hadn't really popped yet, but in the late 70s, early 80s, Sherm, and the dude she was dating was the Sherm man in the
Oh my God.
So I was 4 years old.
So you went from a working man to a drug dealer.
To a drug dealer.
Wow.
With his van and his lowriders and his motorcycles, and he was brothers of the sun. He was on a motorcycle set. He hair permed out with his cowboy hat on.
I get the infidelity, but this is me. I guarantee you, the drug man probably had infidelity too.
Not just that. He used to beat on my mama.
That's crazy. Wow.
My daddy never hit my mama. Back in them days, I woke up and it never happened, but besides then. But I remember waking up and my mama eye being swollen shut.
That's crazy.
And I only seen it once, but a little boy only got to see that once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody would have put a pistol in my hand, he would have been a dead man without a thought. You know what I'm saying? But you exposed your kids to this because you're trying to prove something to their daddy.
I think it sounds to me like it was a combination of all of it, proving it to the dad, but then listening to that church lady and then also them other women. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, your pastor, your church, your congregation, you believe that they know what they're talking about.
When that woman told my mother, I got the money for you, I'm gonna help you, that to her was her certification.
Right.
That was her validation. Okay, the church
like her affirmation.
Yes, the church
and
lady
then
said
see, now this is the thing I'd love to know. Now, once she got with the drug man, where was the church lady? Was she around to give advice then? Or was she out of the picture?
She was back in comfortable Texas.
So see, right now she done ruined your situation.
Yes,
sad to say, probably liking your husband. Now you done left.
You never know.
You know,
never
come
know.
on now.
My daddy was really popular.
You can't trust people.
He was in the church. He wore tailor-made suits. He built the Sunday school for the church. My dad was real pop, and he's a Marine. You know what I'm saying? He was in real good shape. He had a GI Bill, and you know what I'm saying? And he was the man. My mother said he was the most popular dude in school when they was young. Right. But all the girls was on him. You know what I'm saying? And then you moved from Texas.
I understand that she was young, but again, that's what also gets me about people. Like you said, you know what you're getting and you think it's gonna change. So he was already popular. You saw the girls was on him.
He was dropping acid and smoking weed and all that when y'all was dating.
Somebody should have explained to her that, hey, look, I'm a firm believer that when you're with someone, they bring out their representative. I'm a firm believer it's either going to stay the same or it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So to me, if you meet somebody, they're popular, all the girls like them, it's like, are you going to accept that? If you're not, you need to end it quickly. If not, just say, hey, I understand that in this relationship, the girls are going to be close by.
I remember coming up to Texas with my mom, and I'm a middle child. I have two older brothers and two younger sisters. So it's 5 of us. And I remember, this is crazy because I'm only 4 years old, but when things are traumatizing, you remember, you never forget.
Right.
But I remember going we got family to this day all over Nickerson Gardens.
Right.
But I remember my mother first coming from Texas to California, and her cousins, it was a lot of women, not too many men, it was a whole lot of women.
Right.
But her cousins, nobody wanted to let my mama and us stay with them because they're their dudes, because they had men.
Right.
And my mother was a little short, bow-legged, thick, had long, pretty hair. You know what I'm saying? She talked with a country accent, which was hot, which was sexy. You know what I'm saying? And you think, oh, that's Southern. Oh, girl, you ain't from here, huh? And it's sad when your own family can be jealous of you like that.
Right.
To the point where you ain't staying here with me and my husband. You ain't staying here with me. None of them kids ain't staying here.
I'll
you know
be
what I'm saying?
Completely honest with you. This is just me. I will say this, and this might sound totally horrible, but at the end of the day, yes, we as women know what type of man that we have. It's sad to say that if your man will probably step out. So it's like,
there it is right
why,
there.
Why dangle the carrot in his face?
And they knew they men.
So at the end of the day, they knew that they men would probably step out. So it wasn't your mom or nothing against her. It's sad to say they knew they didn't have strong men, and
they knew they men wasn't about nothing. So they he can't go. You can't stay here, girl.
Because I've heard many females say that. Like this one lady, she had stayed at my Airbnb, and she told me she was looking for a spot for her friend. And I just point blank asked her, I said, well, if this is temporary, why can't she stay with you? Her exact words to me were, I got a husband. I don't let women around my husband. Okay, then. Okay.
Yeah. And it is a rule that a lot of women live by. You know what I mean? But you don't tell your cousin to come somewhere, then don't have no feather nothing for her when she comes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like, we all, passed. A lot of people, my mother's not here no more. A lot of my cousins, her cousins have passed away. So, it's over with. But we older now, and that nasty stuff trickled down to the children. You know what I mean? Because your mother talked about my mama talked about your mama, and we all heard it. And when we was around each other as cousins, we might have liked each other a bit, but we wasn't as close as we should have been.
Right.
Because of this stuff, this stigma. You know what I'm saying? It's sad, but these are the little things that shatter and scatter our families, man.
Right. Absolutely. It's like I was saying earlier about the gossip. Same thing.
Yeah. Shatter and scatter a family. And it's so hard to put it back together. It's like a mirror. If you break a mirror, it's not like putting the regular glass back together. It's a little more simple because you can see through it. But that mirror, those little shards are just reflections, and they all reflecting off each other. It's tough now. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see yourself in them little shards. If you was able to look at it, you can actually see yourself in there. Yeah, there I go.
Right.
But I can't get it back together so I can see my full face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's bad. And that's what's been done to our families on such a massive scale. There was on Facebook. Somebody put a statistic up saying that family reunions amongst Black people are down 47%.
Right. Right.
We're not even going around each other for our family. They say because the elders are passing away. And it turns out it's grandma and big mama and them that really make everybody come together still.
That's true.
And then she passed away. We lose her, and everybody like, man, we don't mess with all that. That's how the family crazy. We don't mess with them.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And here it is. That's still your family. That's the family God gave you, man. You gotta work with that, man.
It's unfortunate. That's what I say. We lose something with each generation. I mean, unfortunately, my family is like that. Well, my great grandmother.
Not cool. If you don't want them to go by themselves, fine, go with them.
Right.